Hey, everybody, welcome back. And we've got some really fun and exciting stuff that's going to happen today. The first question is, are existing home sales struggling? Are we seeing kind of just more of a flattening trend? Or is that a national comment? Or is that a local comment? Or is it both? You know what? Let's find out. Let's get the show on the road. All right. So, all things considered, we look at the same metrics every single week. We look at what's coming on market, what's going off market, what is pended, what is the pricing trend, what is the market trend as far as days on market, how are sellers going to benefit, how are buyers going to benefit. And as we go through this each and every week, we're evaluating single family only. Now, there's been a couple of statistics that were sent out there, and as we both know, there's lies, then there's damn lies, and then there's statistics. Ours are going to be very consistent. It's single family only. We do not use condos. That is a different video altogether. But here's the thing. When we take a look at them each and every week, you're going to see in real time what's going on. Not talking about what happened in March. I mean, heck, we're all the way through the middle of April already. I don't know how that happened, but anyway, it did. So with that being said, let's pull up our first ad here. Here we go. Existing home sales remain flat for the bigger picture. And as you can see, since 2020 through 2022, the sales fell off. That is situation normal. And that is what we call our one-off market. But as you can see, that moving forward, it is pretty consistent. There's nothing super exciting that is happening. We're not seeing some massive highs and lows. The peaks that you see are summer markets. And again, that is seasonally normal. When we take a look at the headlines, so bottom left, builders sentiment is dropping just a tad bit. They've been in an upward trend, except for we started seeing a few more homes coming on market. We saw some resale activity. Resale activity is probably the absolute nemesis for new construction, because new construction, they want very little inventory, so people are basically driven to their sites. However, when we start to see more and more resale inventory, which is the seasonally normal between now and about mid-May, before we start the vacation trifecta, we will actually see that inventory start to increase, and then we start to see the new construction wane a little bit, except for when we get towards the end of the month. So let's continue. We can see the upper right. Look, our 30-year fixed rate mortgages, you can see they peaked. They've been heading on their way back down. We've been seeing some good numbers. We're going to delve into that a little bit more shortly here. Mortgage rates basically holding steady. They have come down. When we take a look at Freddie's running 7-day average, here we go. You can see where we spiked up during the start of March, which also is when they started the Iran conflict. And then things have been settling out. And as you can see, the rates have been coming back down again in a very positive manner. In fact, mortgage rates declined this week to a 4-week low of 6.3%, where we actually went from 6% to 5.98%, and we popped all the way up to 6.5%. And then we've been creeping our way back down again. 6.3 has been a pretty steady holder. And we also saw an increase in activity, which you're going to see here shortly. Let's get back to this. All right. So it says compared to 1 year ago, when rates were at 6.83, this is a meaningful improvement for home buyers during this typically busy spring home buying season. Now, here's the thing. We have seen our spring market. It's not as aggressive as we have seen it in the past, but there's been a few international issues that have been coming into play. However, the market is still moving along. In fact, homes that are well priced are still seeing multiple offers. Now, granted, we're not seeing as many multiple offers as we have historically, but well-priced homes still are seeing multiple offers, which is still a very positive sign. We still have a very large pent-up demand of buyers sitting on the sidelines. And as rates come back down, they have been coming in more and more, as you will see. So as we roll over, in fact, let's just take a look at some of that right now. Our average day on market for sellers is great news, has actually come down a day. We're only 7 days less than where we were at this time last year, which is actually quite positive. We were at 13 before, we're down now to 7. So our market has actually been doing quite well. And so no complaints on that one. List to sales price, as you can see, is at 99%. Year to date, we're at 97%. So we're just off just a little bit. Not much, but just a tiny little bit. Now, you might be saying, George, what the heck, man? Does that mean we are heading down? No, we're still at pretty flat like last year and the year before. We're running pretty flat. We're going just a teensy weensy bit up. Other areas, sure. Yeah, nationally, sure. There are some areas that are taking a little bit of a beating, but that's not us. Our market, one of the top 5 across the United States, we are still doing quite well. Even though we've got some increased luxury home sales and whatnot from kind of what I would consider a knee-jerk response on the millionaires tax, that is still yet to play out. We'll see what shakes out with that one. And a few other cities doing some really crazy things that they think you can't spend your way out of debt. Okay. Socialism only works until you run out of money. And well, they kind of ran out of money. So they're coming to you for more. I'll get off my soapbox. So we'll just be careful about that one. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about what's going on with our metrics. So take a look at this. So new listings, 1,293. What is super awesome about that is we actually need that inventory. And the main reason is that we haven't even hit pre-pandemic levels yet. We're still quite a bit lower. We're about 16% higher year over year, which is still not very much. You're going to see that shortly. However, is during the middle of the week, it was about 1,000. So we bumped up almost 300 homes, which is good. And then when we take a look at the Pended, look, we still have almost 1,200 Pended homes, and that has been very consistent through the week. And that is super important because that shows trend. And what we're looking at is that means that for every home that is coming on market, we have a home that's going off market. Midweek, Wednesday, every home that's coming on market, 1.2, 1.3 homes are coming off market. We've been drawing down that inventory. At the end of March, the metric said, hey, we were at 28% more inventory year over year by the end of March. Well, we're at 16% now, if I remember correctly. We're at 16%. And that means that we've been shortening that gap. We've been reducing that inventory level as we're seeing more Pendeds and whatnot. So our activity is improving. Remember, hey, share and like the video. There's no marketing. This just helps everybody get some really good, solid information. Okay. All right. So let's delve into the metrics really tight here. Now, let's talk about the center one. This one is the month of April, year over year to the, chose the 17th. Yes, this is the 18th because, well, it hasn't passed, so we have to do the 17th. So even though we're off 89 sales for the month of April, we are actually up 473 pended homes, or 16.1% more homes. I was off a little bit. It was 19.8% more inventory that we had. When we take a look at year to date on the right-hand side, look, we're 260 homes off from the actual closed sales year to date, but we're up 723 on pended homes. Now, when we take a look at that, that is just showing a very positive sign that, hey, we're seeing more pendeds and more pendeds, especially with rates being 0.5% lower. Okay. When we pop back here, let's just take a look at the March versus April. We're seeing more sales. That is at 100% seasonally normal. So if we come back here, we take a look at what our pricing is. Hey, you know what? Week over week, we're down $4,000, or roughly about 4.5%. And you might say, George, does that mean my house just went down $4,000? No, that just means the average of what's sold in the Northwest MLS, that average price went down $4,000. Part of that is because rates were a little bit higher. There's a little bit of an adjustment, not uncommon. It bobbles up and down each week. Next week, it could be $15,000 higher, $50,000 higher. The week after that, it could be $40,000 lower. It's just an average trend, and we just kind of keep an eye on it. But we look for, if we see a consistent week after week after week, it going down, Okay, then we start to say, okay, are we seeing a different trend? Here we see go up and down like this. It is doing its normal thing, and so we'll just keep going. Here we go. Average numbers for 2026 for April, month to date. Okay, sales are down just slightly, 3.2%. It was 4.6% last month, so we've closed that gap. Pended homes are up 16.1%. That's basically 473 homes. Average time on market improved by 1 day. So we're at 7 days instead of 8, or 13 days less than we were in March. Again, less time on market, meaning that we're seeing a higher turnover rate. Average sales price is 4.6% lower, or $4,000, but mortgage rates are lower than where they were last year, where they were a half a point higher last year. And that is a big deal. So when we roll over to new construction, all right, new construction year, if we look at the center chart here, 34 homes less for the month of April than we did year over year, but up 27 on the Pended. That did not help our year-to-date numbers because we're still down both on sold and Pended. Now, you might be saying, oh my gosh, the builders, the new construction is failing. No, they've been struggling with this since 2023 when the resale inventory really started to take an uptick. Look, they absolutely have been taking second fiddle. People want bigger yards, a little more space. Homes they want to be in a little bit closer. We have return to work. 100% situation normal. Yes, new construction is still selling. Yes, month end is always the best time to buy new construction because they want to get standing inventory off the market. There's a little bit more incentive. It won't be on price. It'll be on other areas. So make sure you're working with a real estate broker that absolutely knows how to deal with builders. If you don't, you're going to leave tens of thousands of dollars on the table that you could benefit from. Just get off my soapbox again. All right. Let's come back here. Now, when we take a look at what's going, look, our average price for new construction actually has gone up both year to date and month to date. We've been seeing that positive swing upward, as you see from the chart up above. Now, let's move over to bank owned. Bank owned, again, still not super exciting at all. The statistical numbers... Statistical numbers look crazy, but when you take a small number and you double it, it looks massive as a percentage. In fact, somebody threw out an article talking about, foreclosures, they're way up. And, well, they're not. Anyway, so here we go. So year to date, we've got 36 more homes than what we did last year. Small numbers, okay. This is 3/4 of Washington State. We had 15 more listings technically come on market than we did last year. Again, that's a super small number, but when you look at it at 83%, that looks massive, okay. Sold, 21% higher, but it's 4 homes. That's nothing. Pended, 15 homes. Again, everything is really coming across very, very consistent. And when we take a look at these, we are seeing a small uptick with some of the folks that did not so much forbearance, but chose not to make their payment during the COVID time. And now they're struggling to either put that on the backside, get a 40-year mortgage, come to some terms regarding that so that they can reinstate their loan. So we're having some banks that are being a little bit more aggressive. If you're working with a credit union, they are awesome to deal with. Make sure that you're just being straight up with them because they treat their members amazingly well. Just my 2 cents for you. All right. As we come back, look, if you want some solid videos, there's no marketing in them. You can take a look at what's going on in your area. We have we call real-time market updates. Have some additional information for you to take a look at both as a buyer and a seller. So if you have any questions, absolutely let me know. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you're sending us your love. And in the meantime, it's a beautiful day out there. Have an absolutely fabulous day. I'll see you on the next video. And in the meantime, enjoy your weekend. Take care.